Struggling to pay your child support? Are not receiving any? Need a modification? Has the Department of Revenue filed a case against you? Don't face this alone. If you are dealing with a child support problem, a knowledgeable family law attorney may be able to help you solve it. Let us help so you can focus on being the best parent you can be. Stress less, choose more.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Conti Smith, and I am excited to have our senior attorney extraordinaire, Erin Duncan, joining us today. So, Erin, do you want to say a couple of words?
Hi, I'm Erin Duncan, and indeed the senior attorney at Conti Law, and very excited to talk to you guys about some issues that we've seen come up with the hope of helping our clients.
Absolutely. So the topic for today, and everyone who's tuned in, we will go live more often and kind of give some different tips and tricks for our clients and for those that are watching. But today we are talking about what I have received several calls about recently, and I'm sure you have, Erin, as well. Federal passport revocations for unpaid child support. So I can give a brief overview, and then Erin, feel free to chime in and stop me at any time. But before, basically what has happened, there is a law that basically states that if you owe more than $2,500 in back child support, that you cannot get a passport, right? But I think in the law it also stated like they could revoke it, but they didn't really revoke passports.
Yeah, I don't think we saw a lot of enforcement, Conti. I think it was when people really exceeded those thresholds, they were in the tens of thousands of dollars in past support, that the government, the Department of Revenue, frankly, is the reporting agency for our state, was reporting these to the federal government for passport seizure, essentially, or the inability to renew. But for whatever reason, and we all know there's a lot going on in our country right now, these calls are more and more frequent, and people are not getting a whole lot of notice to understand that the trip they have planned. I had one gentleman last week that gave us a call at the office and has a trip planned at the end of May and now found out his passport is no good.
Right. So let me just give a little bit of history about what's going on. So historically, the program operated mainly like at the application stage, right? So we would get calls, hey, I'm getting married in Jamaica and, this summer, but I can't get my passport, right? And there's nothing that you can really file at the court level. Like you can't file. This is a federal law. So let's start with that. This is a federal law, right? So there's not much you can do with filing a motion with the court to try to get your passport established in whatever state, right? But so basically you would find out when you applied for a passport. Now, the new revocation push reaches people who already hold valid passports and have accumulated significant arrears since the issuance of that passport. Right?
That's correct. That is the difference. So in the past, maybe you get, your passport's good for 10 years if you're an adult. I'm sure there are exceptions, but maybe it's your first time applying and you find out, but these are people that are holding passports now. And the law has always been there. This has always been an ability of the government to do, but for whatever reason, we're seeing more and more enforcement. So maybe you've had your passport 2 years, you're not going to worry about it for 8. You book a cruise, probably not a cruise. You book something where you're getting on a flight, you need to swipe your passport or put the number in to buy a ticket, you're getting flagged. You're getting flagged.
And this is going to impact a lot of people. So based on my understanding, your passport may no longer be valid for international travel, even after the debt is paid. You have to go back after the debt is paid and apply for a new passport, right? So once you pay it, you have to get a new passport. And if you're overseas at the time that your passport is revoked, that individual may obtain a limited validity passport good for only direct return to the United States.
Correct.
So I read that as well. So if you're abroad and it gets revoked, you may be able to get a one-way passport back, but then you can't leave after that.
Again.
So this is really interesting because $2,500 is not a lot to have in arrears. And so when they went, I think there's a statement that was made, according to my notes, I think last week, when they talked about this, and they were saying that they're going to start with the people who owe a lot more, but we've seen it, or people have at least called in about a lot less and receiving a notice about getting their passport revoked.
Correct. And what people need to understand, so as you said, it's federal level law. However, to cure, and we're in Florida, hopefully we're reaching a mostly Florida audience here. If you're in Florida, you do need to go through the process. It's going to likely involve the Department of Revenue and the opposing party, the person that's owed support to. So number one, this is not a situation where you call up the ex and say, hey, I owe you $5,000. Let me write you a check and pay it. That's not going to do you any good at all, other than to cure your debt. So not only do you then need to, you need to cure the debt, or it is possible to get on a payment plan, which is why you really need to be looking for an attorney. But cure the debt, then you need to go back to the court system to prove and or get verification from the other side that that debt has been cured. But then, folks, that passport is dead. That passport number, no longer, that you might as well shred it, because you have to start over, brand new passport, brand new application process. So it's not like you can cure the debt and then run out and get your ticket using the same passport. You're going to have to go through the process all over again. And I think the website is currently saying 2 to 3 weeks for a passport. Good luck. I don't even think a rush does that. So you're really talking several weeks after the debt has cured and the state has recognized the debt is cured. So you've got to cure the debt, go through the court process, and then reapply. You're talking months.
And that's a good point. So in my notes, it talks about that once you pay just to kind of reiterate what you said, once you pay the arrears, in every state where debt is owed,
correct.
You have to wait for the state to notify HHS, okay? And that could take 2 to 3 weeks in itself.
Correct.
Right? And then you have to wait for them to clear it all before you can go and then apply for a brand new passport. So this is going to make international travel a little shaky for anyone that owes arrears. Now, Erin, what are your thoughts? Like, so sometimes in court cases, they I don't know, back child support. I don't call it back child support, but if you get put on child support and they may say, hey, you owe 2 years back, here's the amount. Or does that amount count for this passport?
So yeah, so what they're looking at, so what they're referencing on the website is past due child support. So we would normally talk to you about this in a standard child support case. If you have an initial child support case, you're going to get an ongoing child support amount. That's from the time that the process stops going forward till your child emancipates. There's also likely going to be a period of time retroactively in Florida, currently up to 2 years, circumstances apply, but they can go back up to 2 years and say you should have been paying child support then. That is past due child support. I'm sorry, retroactive child support. It's due in past. Then once that retroactive support is confirmed by a judgment or order, then it becomes arrears. So we're interchanging some verbiage, which is fine, but the state is looking for, if there's a big arrearage, and lots of people for lots of reasons have big arrearage, that's okay, so long as you have a payment plan on that and you're current. So likely you're going to be able to get your passport cleared so long as you're paying the ongoing child support and the payments towards your arrearage, and all of those payments are current. So what I would say is if you have a big retro, you were unemployed for a year, say, you missed a whole bunch of payments, it's sitting out there as past due support and past due arrearage payments, right? Because you're going to have the two categories. You want to go back to court and take that lump sum amount and ask the court to adjudicate it and add it to arrearage and assign those smaller payments toward that so that you have a clean slate. You still owe a bunch of money, but you have a clean slate where your payments stay current. That's the position you want to be in, to have the court, okay, yes, we're going to allow you to have access to international travel.
Right. Okay. Awesome. So If you have any questions about this, please call us so that we can do whatever we can to try to assist you. Again,
Absolutely.
it's a federal law, but there are some things that we can help you with to make it to where hopefully you won't get revoked if you owe more than $2,500. But if you have a question about this or any type of family law question at all, please give us a call at 407 831-0203. Erin is a former magistrate from Orange and Osceola counties, and she's a senior attorney that supervises all of our attorneys in all of our cases. So we are very fortunate to have her. Any last words, Erin, that you want to say?
Just to get on top of this stuff sooner rather than later. Everybody has circumstances and reasons that they get in pickles financially. Let's get it cleaned up for you so that you don't have these issues and other related issues like getting your taxes swiped. If you get on a payment plan and we can help you do that at the state level, stay free and clear. You won't run into these issues, but you are probably going to need some help navigating the system. So please give us a call.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Erin, for taking the time to talk with us today. Make sure that you follow Conti More Law on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. We're doing a lot of this, a lot of these videos. We want to make sure that we're helping people in our community and that we're being a resource to our clients as well. So reach out to us if you can, and we appreciate your time today.